media availability with Josh Paschal and Luke Fortner, and we will turn over this time for Josh to begin.
We decided to use this time that we've been given today to address something that's more important than football. As a Power 5 football team, we come from all different backgrounds, but come together to turn awareness into action. In light of recent events involving police brutality, the team stands together in unity, knowing that there's a problem in this country. Playing for Coach Stoops means that we have a player's coach. We have a coach that empathizes and hurts with us while having our best interests at heart. The administration of the university has been great with listening and offering any help that they can. Coach Stoops has made it known that he is for us and against this issue by protesting and giving us this opportunity. Our team has been a prime example of how our community should be. We may have different beliefs or values, but we work together to fight for one goal. We've never had a problem with this team splitting up with this issue because we are a brotherhood, and we know we are more than athletes because on this team we are treated as such. This is how we want others to see us as well.
This isn't an issue for just our black teammates. It's an issue that involves all of our players and should involve all of our fans and community. We realize that as athletes, we have a platform, and we have decided as a team that we'll use this platform for positive change. And what does this mean? It means that we're not just going to tweet a hashtag. We plan on continuing our volunteer service, but with an emphasis on youth minorities in the community. We plan on opening dialogue with the Lexington Police and inviting an open conversation. We plan on making this a consistent effort, not something that dies down in just a week.
Okay, at this time, we will open it up for questions with the raise hand feature. If you have a question for one of our players, please indicate with a raised hand. Our first question is from Josh Moore. Okay, Josh, go ahead, please. Hang on.
Sorry about that. When did you all start having conversations about possibly doing this today and trying to take a moment to talk about this today instead of practicing?
Well, today it was just a conversation that we had going into the facility today. We met as a unity council, which is just a group of leaders throughout the team that the players have anointed, and we really just talked about the issue. We had some players who felt like this was necessary to make this decision and spread awareness and make that awareness into action. And so with that came to one decision, and we all believed that this was the right thing, and that's what we decided to do, and we stand by that.
Yeah, I fully, showed up at the facility planning on practicing today, and if you know Boogie Watson, you know how laid back he is and real chill he is, and when he's visibly upset or Josh Paschal's visibly upset, there's an issue. And so I showed up to the facility thinking I'd practice, but when I saw that, I knew that we had to do something else.
Okay, Kent Spencer.
Yeah, this question's actually for Luke. You talk about Boogie hurting, you talk about Josh hurting, but how important is it for their white teammates to stand shoulder to shoulder with them, right now, probably more important now more than ever?
It's incredibly important, and what I highlighted at the beginning is that this is a human issue, right? And so when Josh says that I need help, to all of his white teammates, if his white teammates are there to back him up, we can automatically begin to make a change in our community and reach out to, everyone in the community regardless of what color they are, right? And so I think it's almost the most important part that we stand with Josh and the rest of our black teammates in this issue.
Okay, next question is Larry Ball.
Yeah, Josh, you talk about how good it is that Coach Stoops is willing to support and go along with what you guys want. After you all met as players, how did you all kind of approach Coach Stoops and any other coaches, and what was their reaction when you talked to him?
Coach Stoops, he's always been for us, and that's something that we all love and we appreciate that. And we were in a players only meeting, and he actually accidentally opened the door, but we were all welcoming him in, and just he started to listen to us, and he told us straight up. He said, "Whatever you guys decide to do, I will stand for you guys." He knows that it's an issue. He knows that there's things that needs to be talked about, and there's actions that need to be made, and that he was willing to stand with us and fight for us, no matter what we decided. If we decided to practice, or if we decided to just talk about this issue and focus on that today.
And is this just a one-day deal?
This is not a one-day deal. This is are you talking about with the?
Not practicing, yeah.
Yes, this is just a one-day deal, but of course, Coach Stoops, he's willing to. This is not just a one-day deal for Coach Stoops listening to us. Coach Stoops listens to us all the time. He's willing to hear us out and really empathize with us, and I feel like that's what we all need right now. We all need someone who will empathize with us, who will understand, who will be willing to learn and educate themselves.
All right, next is Dick Gabriel. Dick?
Guys, I salute you for your leadership and your strength. My question is, we know that trying to put an end to racism is the ultimate goal, but that is a worldwide generational problem. In the immediate term, what is your tangible goal with this action?
That's a great question, and it's definitely one of the biggest criticisms of things like this. And so what's nice is we have Mitch Barnhart and Eli Capilouto, and we plan on reaching out to youth groups across Lexington. We plan on reaching out to the police and finding out ways that we can communicate and figure out a solution, because it's not a one-sided issue. There's a side to every single story, and we understand that, and we are doing what it takes to get everyone together and discuss that. And we want our tangible solution right now to be to educate our youth, because that's where it's all starts. Like you said, it's a generational problem. We want everyone growing up to be able to embrace differences with other people. We don't want it to be something where, I live here, they don't live here, why should I care? We want it to be something where everyone is willing to embrace the differences of other people.
Okay, John Clay?
Yeah, guys, I was wondering, how much were you affected by what happened with the NBA yesterday and now with Major League Baseball and NHL, or were you inspired by that? How much of that had an effect on what you guys did today?
Well, what we saw yesterday with the NBA and the MLB, that was powerful. To be an athlete, that's something that people look up to, and people see sports as entertainment. And seeing them stand up for what's right and stand up for their people, because the majority of the NBA players, they are African American. And so for them to stand up for their people, that meant a lot to see that. And that encouraged me to use my platform to do so too, and encourage our teammates to do the same. And so even with that being said, the NBA, as far as that goes, that is going to be like a stepping stone, I see, or a domino effect, where people are going to get encouragement to do things in the community, to really see this issue as a problem.
Okay, Josh Moore?
Back in July when you guys marched and were able to participate in that, and up to now, when you see fans react to what you guys do, whether positively or negatively, like the fans that don't necessarily agree with what you're doing, how do you just reconcile with that? And what would you say maybe to the people that don't accept what you're doing, and to maybe try to change their minds?
Well, it hurts seeing fans who put us down, who see us as just athletes. We are more than athletes, and like I said, we know that while we're at this facility. But when we leave this facility, we want our fans to know that as well, that we can have opinions that may not be the same as theirs, but you want to see us as human, because we are human. and we are all human. And I respect their opinions, and they should respect ours as well. And so even with this whole issue right now, I feel like this is a human rights issue. This is not a political issue or anything like that. And I believe that we should all be united in this fight against police brutality, and that we should all be for us, not half and half or not against us.
All right, Ken Spencer?
Yeah, Josh, this is for you. When you guys decided not to practice today, you guys are holding that meeting. How important was it for you guys to develop quickly an action plan moving forward?
It was very important because without action, nothing happens. It's just merely a thought. And so, with everything that's been going on, it's been a lot of talking on social media, things of that sort, but there hasn't really been that much action. And I feel like action is going to be the thing that takes us to the next level. And what we did today, it's going to be talk around Kentucky. And, some people may not agree with it, but I know that people will hear me out and people will listen to this press conference, and that they may see things differently. And even if everyone doesn't change their hearts, who may disagree with me, even if we can influence just a couple of people, that may be a domino effect that they can change their community, and that they can change how they treat their kids, how they raise their kids, so that they will treat others with respect while they're growing up.
Okay, Gary Graves?
This question is for Josh. In this discussion, were there any personal episodes, any personal experiences that players talked about, and what kind of fears did they express, maybe for here or the communities that they come from?
I'm not going to say any names, but we had a teammate who came forward and told us about an incident that his cousin had, where he was in a car, and our teammate was in the car, but his cousin was, and he had got pulled over, and he was reaching for his insurance, but he had to move his drumsticks in order to do so because he was a drummer. And the police shot him and killed him right on the scene, and they have never been charged for that. And so that was something that we had someone who was directly affected by that situation right in that room. And so to have someone with that issue in their life, we wanted to be able to empathize with them and realize that, we have your back. We know there's an issue with this country, and we're willing to fight for that. And even though we have teammates that may not look like us, we know that they have our back too, because, we're just all a family around here. We're a brotherhood. I remember last year we had something called breaking bread tables. And you'll be matched up with somebody who may not look nothing like you and definitely came from a different background than you. But you guys just talk and you learn things that you would never even thought that person would be going through, or how they grew up. But you'll learn to appreciate those differences. You'll learn to love someone who looks nothing like you, and love just differences that you may not see in your own community.
Okay, Larry Hall?
Luke, I was wondering, what kind of message do you hope what you guys are doing today might send to high school athletes across the state of Kentucky that are obviously going to be paying a lot of attention to what you're saying and what you're doing?
I think the number one message for high school athletes, or even high school students in general, is that the biggest thing you can do personally is you can reach out to someone you know who may have suffered from something similar, or know someone who did, or maybe even if they haven't, you can reach out to someone and say, I'm here. I may not understand it, but I'm willing to listen to what you have to say and take action with that knowledge. And so I just think one of the best things we can do, and one thing that we do well here, is that we reach out to each other and we listen to each other and embrace each other's differences. And so I think, starting from when you're really young, if you can just learn to listen to people and what they have to say and what they struggle with, you'll learn a lot about them and yourself.
Jeremy Jarman?
Hey, Josh, you're an out-of-state athlete from the D.C. area. What has your personal experience been like in the Lexington community? And what can you say about, some of those conversations that you've had with some of your teammates?
My experience in the Lexington community has been great. Of course, I'm privileged enough to be an athlete, so I am put on a platform where I'm treated, better than a normal individual. And I realize that, people who see me and they see Joshua Paschal and they see me as a football player. And, of course, that's been great being around here and things of that sort. And I know my other teammates as well, they've been treated good being in Lexington and things of that sort.
All right, Josh Moore?
Either of you guys, you both can speak to this. I know you both said that this isn't a political issue, but a human rights issue, and I agree with that. But how do you, I know voting and everything has become something you guys are also kind of gotten, passionate about getting back in the summer. How much of that, when you talk about educating people, and youth, is a part of that kind of emphasizing the need to vote and to be active and trying to get that message across?
Well, first, when I was talking about education, I was really talking about how we can learn about systemic racism and things of that sort, and just different types of racism that can be brought to the table, and how, communities with minority in them, majority minority, that they are put at a particular disadvantage that other communities aren't. And so just learning about that, I feel like that we can learn about just how hard it is for those people to make it out and things of that sort. And so you can see issues for how they truly are and not just how the media portrays them. You can really see how this world or this country just really ties it together.
Yeah, Josh, I'll answer your question about voting. I think, Courtney Love has done a great job, and he's making sure that we all are registered to vote and get absentee ballots for guys out of state. And I think that is something that you can stress to high school athletes or people who are getting to the age where they can vote, is that it doesn't have to be, like we said earlier, it doesn't have to just be a hashtag on Twitter, right? It can be something tangible in terms of you go out to the polls and decide what you want to do, right? What do you want? And voting is a way to do that. And I think we definitely take that for granted in this country, me included. And so I think education on voting is something that Courtney Love and the rest of the administration is really trying to stress.
Okay, Gabriel, I got your hand up. Was that a previous question, or do you have one now? All right, must have been a previous question. All right.
Guys, with you guys being leaders on the team, have you had any conversations, or do you plan on having any conversations with some of the minority student organizations on campus, and seeing if you can kind of align or kind of share a partnership with the regular student body?
Yeah, I think that's something that we definitely need to include in our plan, to reach out, because it's not just, we get all the publicity because we're athletes, but every single minority at this university, I'm sure, has some similar story about them or someone they know. And so I think that's a great plan and something that we should add to. And I'll let Josh speak on that.
And plus, we have, as I mentioned before, as athletes, we're put on a platform where we may not experience the same treatment as regular students. And so being able to talk to them, that might be a good idea in the future, so that we can see how things would be for, people who may look like us but aren't put on that platform, and that we could see things for how they truly are, and, try to fix those things.
Derek Terry?
You guys, I was wondering who else is on the Unity Council with you guys?
It's a big list.
It's a big list. It's not a small list, but
Just some of the names of people maybe who are more vocal today than some others.
everybody was vocal today. But I'd probably say Cedric Dort, Boogie Watson, Darian Kennard, Landon Young, Drake Jackson, Josh Ali. Who else do you think?
Zach Johnson.
Zach Johnson. Max Duffy.
Even though he's not American. But
Quinn Bohanna.
yeah, a lot of people
Nick
were.
Lewis.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, no, I just think it speaks volumes about, our team that we can't sit here and say, oh, it was just two guys. It was a whole host of leaders and guys on the team, and it just, obviously I don't know, but I'm sure it means an absolute ton that there's so many guys willing to stand up for and kind of come up with a solution for something like this.
All right, Josh Moore?
But it's something that is obviously a big issue here. What kind of perspective has he brought to that? That's maybe being an older guy and also from a different country.
Yeah, he's definitely brought some interesting perspectives, and he's fun to listen to talk about it because he gets very passionate about it. But I think one of the things that he really brings to the conversation is, there's such a diversity in the American people. Obviously every country has their diversity, but we have so many different races and cultures in America that, maybe this is an issue because of how many different people live here. And so I think one thing he stresses is that, maybe you're not gonna get to know every single different person that lives in the United States, right? But you can make an effort to try and understand every different person that lives in the United States. So I think that's really important. I think one of the other players who's not from the United States, Abule, got up and spoke to us today, and that was a really cool experience. And he mentioned it in the D-line room, so I'll let Josh talk about that, but I think that's important.
Yeah, so Abule, he talked about, because he's from Nigeria and his family is still down there. And so he actually talked about how being from Nigeria, they see America as the land of opportunity. And that when he came here, of course, he was adopted by a white family. And so that's what he grew up around. He went to a white private school and things of that sort, but he was still in the black community as well. And so he mentioned that with all this going on, especially this past year, how much his father has been calling him because of his family worrying about his safety and things of that sort. And he just was telling us how important this is, because this is something that's bigger than just nationwide. This is something that's becoming to be worldwide, and that we are really we're really doing something powerful with spreading this message. And he really encouraged us to keep this going.
Okay, looks like wrap up. I'm still not sure. Dick Gabriel, do you have a question? Still have your hand raised up. Do you have one?
I do.
Yeah, okay.
Both of you guys have used the term platform, and obviously you have that as student athletes. And to follow up on an earlier question from Josh about fan reaction, I'm wondering, as athletes, what has been your reaction prior to today when you've heard mostly professional athletes speak out and people hit them with, well, they just need to worry about playing ball, basically shut up and dribble. I don't know what the equivalent would be for you guys, shut up and play football, but what have been your reactions to that? Because you can relate, obviously, to other athletes, because you know you're going to hear some of that after today.
I feel personally that I came from a predominantly white community. I didn't go to school with a bunch of black people, right? And now that I am surrounded by minorities and people of different cultures every single day, I feel that I've learned a lot. I've learned so much. And I feel that I feel that I'm qualified to speak on this issue, right? I feel that I have the experiences to come out and say what I believe. And you're never going to make everyone happy, and you're never going to please everyone, but everyone, athlete or not, should be entitled to their opinion. And we are, and we feel that we're doing the right thing.
And I know it hurts just hearing that, hearing the quote that, that everybody throws at LeBron is shut up and dribble. And hearing that, knowing that people just see us merely as entertainment, that just doesn't make sense in my mind, because I bleed the same blood that Luke bleeds. And we may look different, but we are both intelligent young men. We're student athletes. We carry loads that's different than a regular student. And with that being said, I feel like that I'm educated enough to speak on this topic as well. I'm of course, I went through this as being a black man in America, so I have experience that I can talk about as well while being that. And when people say shut up and dribble or just stick to football, that really, that gets under my skin because at the end of the day, we all are one. We're all the same. I'm not better than Luke. Luke's not better than me. We're equal. And that's how we see each other, and that's the truth.
Okay, we wrapped up at the end of the questions. Just wanted to give opportunity. Luke, anything else you need to say today?
I just wanted to say one thing. I wanted to say that, in 20 years, is it going to matter if we practice on this Thursday? Probably not. But right now, we have an opportunity to do something with that platform that we just talked about. And in a year or two, for me and Josh, right, that platform's not going to be here. We're not going to be UK football players anymore. And we're still going to have an opinion, but people probably aren't going to listen. So the fact that we have a chance to get our opinions out and what we think is right to all of Kentucky, that's something really special. And we're just trying to capitalize on that.
I say so.
Sure. Yeah, Josh, go ahead.
So I just want to say that, being up here, Luke, Fortner, and myself, we're speaking for every single one of our teammates. We're speaking for our teammates who may not feel loved in this country, who are going through, who aren't mentally right now just because of things that's going on. Seeing people who look like us being harmed just solely because of the color of our skin, and people fearing us just solely because of the color of our skin. There's a lot of stereotypes about us, but at Kentucky, we're educated young black men on this football team, and that's something that we carry our pride in. That's something that Coach Stoops has set in stone, is that to know that we are more than athletes, and that's just what I want everybody to know, is that we really care for each other and we empathize with each other, and we are a true brotherhood here, and we're a true family.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate everyone joining today. Josh, Luke, thank you for joining us.